guess my thought is like if Sydney Sweeney is saying like, yeah, I'm a white supremacist Aryan nationalist, like diva down, Hitler is the best type.
But she's not. Next, guys, we are going to check in on the meltdown over Sydney Sweeney, the actress who I wasn't super familiar with. I remember her in White Lotus a couple seasons ago, but I'm hardly the biggest fan in the world. But I did respond to the online meltdown over her American Eagle jeans campaign where they did the Sydney Sweeney has great jeans. And it was kind of like a pun that she's really hot and beautiful, but she's wearing jeans and she has good genes, like genetics. The internet lost its mind, declared her like a white supremacist and said she was pushing eugenics and had this like weeks-long meltdown over this jeans commercial in a way that was really bizarre. Well, Sydney Sweeney has basically just told the TikTok mob to go F itself, and they're not coping well. They're really losing it once again over on that corner of the internet. But first, here, I'll just show you a clip from the GQ interview that Sydney Sweeney just did, where she refused to really acknowledge or apologize for the fake controversy and online outrage, which, of course, to some people has just proved how evil she is, but to me is just deeply amusing. Let's look.
The criticism of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like that was kind of like the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
I just love this because this woke journalist is like twisting herself in pretzels to try to like calmly suggest like, hey, maybe address this unhinged woke smear of you as a eugenicist because you did a jeans commercial and did a pun. And she's just like, I don't care. Y'all can go to hell in a handbasket. She gives 0 Fs and she is not even acknowledging the controversy because it's so ridiculous. And she's not even accepting the framing or the suggestion that there is anything to address or apologize for in the first place, because there is not. The jeans commercial was totally innocuous. It was a pun, and people crashed out and worked themselves up into a little mini meltdown over it. That is fundamentally not her problem. And what I loved about this interview was it was so 2025, because just a few years ago, celebrities would have groveled and said, I'm so sorry to the people who were hurt by it, and I'll do better, and here's a big check to Black Lives Matter or whatever. And she's just like, when I have something to say, people will hear it, and I don't care. And if they want to, because the whole thing is people read into one of the like 20 American Eagle spots she did. No one talks about the other ones, of course. This whole message and political agenda and racist philosophy and all this stuff that she never said she believes in or supports at all. And so she's just like, if I actually want to make a statement, I will. And so what she's saying is there was nothing there, but she's not really addressing it because she doesn't want to dignify it with a response. And I think that's totally valid. But over on TikTok, they're acting like this proves them right in the first place and fantasizing about violently harming her because of this little interview clip that we just watched. Totally normal culture and atmosphere and discourse we've got going over on that website. Let's look at a little compilation I made for y'all because I just kept seeing crazy videos about this. So let's take a look.
At the end of the day, guys, choosing not to say something in the current political climate says everything.
No, it doesn't. Not everyone is crazy like y'all. Some people just opt out of the craziness. I know that's hard for y'all to understand, not relatable to y'all, and that's okay, but please don't do the projection.
Everything.
New Sydney Sweeney interview is crazy. Like, we are no longer hinting at the thing. We are outright saying it. Mask off, white hood on. These are my...
He just said white hood on, as in like the KKK, and we're no longer hinting at it. We're outright saying it. Did I just miss that part of the GQ interview where she outright said anything about race or racism? No. Y'all hallucinated a wild accusation against her, and then when she chose not to dignify it with a response, convinced yourself that somehow proves you right. No, babe, it's giving padded room is where y'all belong with this. But go off, please.
my genes, and also I'm not a eugenicist. See how easy that was?
And I guess my thought is like, if Sydney Sweeney is saying like, yeah, I'm a white supremacist Aryan nationalist, like deep down, Hitler is the best type.
But she's not. She literally never said these people are crazy. They just are having conversations with themselves. Like words and statements that were never made. They are hearing. When you're hearing voices, babe, you're supposed to see a doctor about that. Not yap on about it on TikTok and act like their voices are real. Oh my goodness. That's just wild. She just didn't say that. She didn't say, yeah, I'm a racist, I love Hitler. What?
Type diva. Like, if that's your shit, that's your zhuzh. Period. Whatever. GQ, are you not responsible potentially, absolutely, for like platforming said thought school? You didn't have to share that article. You saw it in the edit. You saw what she said. She all but said like, yeah, I got a couple hoods in my closet. You want to see one? And you guys were like, front page. Actually, stamp.
One, again, she didn't say that, and this man is just hallucinating. But two, this is a very warped view of journalism, because even if Sydney Sweeney, and again, she didn't, if she had come out and made some racist statements or said, yeah, I am racist or whatever, that would be newsworthy. They would be doing their job by publishing that statement so the world knows what she thinks and what she says and can view her accordingly. So, of course, they're still going to publish the interview, even if a little bit of it's controversial, which it actually isn't. But to these crazy people, they can work themselves up over nothing. But like that's the fundamental misunderstanding of what journalism and media is and exists to do. The critique of this cringeworthy journalist in the GQ ad, a more serious critique, is just that she was so like beat around the bush about it. Like she just wasn't very upfront with anything or very hard hitting or direct. And that's a very, very entertainment journalism style of interview that I find frustrating. Now, the reason they do it sometimes is because in that kind of media, they will hit you with like lists of things you have to agree to before they give you the interview, which in political media, you would never accept. But in entertainment media, they do accept. Then sometimes they'll try to go there anyway by like working around it in a roundabout way. So maybe that's what happened. But regardless, this dude's like, once she said she's racist, the thing you hallucinated. And she said she had white hoods, another thing you hallucinated, babe. The pattern here is you hallucinating. But regardless, then why would they ever publish that? That's because it's newsworthy. Because people deserve to know who they might support financially, what they believe and what they say. Like, what are you thinking? You only publish sweet and nice and lovely conversations? That is not how media works. Crazy.
Stamped. Y'all have also co-signed this.
Because I watched that interview. First off, why the f is her face so punchable, right?
You sound crazy, and I understand they're gay men and they're being sassy, but can we just like not joke about hitting women? Could we not?
We need to cancel her. I'm annoyed about it. Because she 1000% shouldn't be famous anymore. She shouldn't have a platform. She clearly is a dumb bitch. Like, I don't know what else to say.
Sydney Sweeney going, the ad spoke for itself.
She's so punchable.
Oh my gosh, at least this is a woman, so less bad, but still bad actually, to suggest punching people because you don't like them or what they say, or because they refuse to play your stupid games. That's what's really going on here. They can't stand that Sydney Sweeney won't play their stupid woke games.
Punchable, you know?
The ad speaks for itself.
Oh my god, homegirl here just looks crazy. She looks crazed.
A white supremacist come out? She was asked point blank, do you condemn white supremacy? Did you mean to say that white people's genes are superior in that ad? And she says, I'll let it speak for itself.
None of the things you just described happened. She was asked point blank, this, except she wasn't. And even if she did, it would actually be okay to not dignify ridiculous questions and assertions, all based on a pun between a hot person having good genes and selling a pair of jeans. Some grand theory about white supremacy, eugenics, all this. Yeah, it's actually okay to not like actively enable and dignify with a response absurd smears and conspiracies. And these people, I mean, they just come off as unhealthily obsessed with this woman and this discourse, and like they are constantly trying to find reasons to be offended and outraged where no actual reasons exist. It's just a genuinely, it's a way of walking through the world that seems exhausting. Don't they get tired of this? I get tired of watching them twist themselves up in pretzels like this. And I can only imagine what it must be like to actually participate in that. But I guess it gets them clicks or like approval from their little echo chamber crowd they're with on TikTok. But I find the whole thing absurd. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to subscribe, like, and all that.